So today on this AFI podcast, we have a special guest in here who is basically Josh Jr., one of my children. And we are going to have an open discussion. We really don't have any subject matter. And I'm just kind of curious to see what's on his brain. So give me a question. What you got?
All right. So within the fragrance industry, has anything been changing 2020-wise, trend-wise?
So I think the most interesting thing that I've noticed is our peak season realistically started about a month and a half early. So what I mean by that is right now everybody would go into the trade shows. All that stuff starts really in the next couple of weeks. That's the Gift Mart that happens in Atlanta, Chicago, Las Vegas, New York. All those big shows that normally would happen are no longer going to happen because of the whole COVID outbreak. So you can't get in big groups of people. We can't brush elbows.
Do they just push those back, or
So
it's like I'll see y'all next year?
really, because of the situation, they don't have any real dates right now. All we know is that big groups of people are not going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you're a company trying to sell a product, that's really causing all kind of issues because really what you do is you come up with a product line, you get a nice brochure, you get a nice display, you go to these trade shows, people walk around from Walmart and CVS and Rite Aid and Walgreens and all these other companies, and they look at your stuff and they go, that's great. You have a nice candle. I'd like to buy 10,000 units, and then that's how the game works. So now if you don't have trade shows, these people are having to think out of the box. So I think a lot of those buyers went online, and now there's a couple big websites that literally are trying to take up for the trade shows on an online capacity that a lot of people have shifted to. So I think when that took place, that changed the whole process. So instead of us getting orders early July, end of July, going into August, it actually pushed everything early to the beginning of May, into June, and now we're still seeing a bigger uptick. So it just changed the dynamics.
Are they going, like, I'm assuming towards like winter? Are they going past winter, or what are people thinking?
So the smaller accounts right now are still trying to get some of the tourist money. So they're still trying to do by the ocean, pink sands, all that type of stuff. The oceans, right?
Yeah.
But we saw the uptick on cinnamon, pumpkin, vanilla, all the pines and firs and all that stuff basically early May. So to us, that means the buyers think that the consumers are going to run out of money. So if they think they're going to run out of money, that's where they have the pre-Black Friday sales and they have all these other major events, because they figure if I don't get the money now, they're going to run out of money before I actually do my sale. So I've got to do something. So it looks like most of the companies this year figure the consumer is going to run out of money early, and that's why they're trying to get the products on the shelves earlier than normal, even ahead of the trade shows, which is crazy. But that seems to be the trend that we're seeing right now. So you being a consumer, what fragrance would you be buying right now in your house?
Nowadays, I'd probably go into a store and buy like more of the tropical scents and summer vibes and ocean breeze, and that's just me.
Yeah, the tropical scents.
Yeah.
So normally you wouldn't be looking for those fall scents until at least the weather started changing a little bit colder. You started seeing the leaves changing, that type of thing. But right now it looks like that stuff's going to be in the shelves before the season changes. So I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out this year.
It's kind of going to be weird.
I mean, people might not even go to the stores for it to even matter. So it might just be on the websites that you can start getting the fall scents. Because I've already seen Bath and Body Works. They literally already have fall fragrances on their website. Leaves, pumpkin, pecan. I mean, that stuff normally wouldn't be out there for a couple of months. So it's either one, they ran out of inventory of their summer fragrances, or two, they just know that people are going to start looking for that, so they're just pumping it out. It's one of the two. Yeah. So to me, the trade shows changing was a big dynamic. And the trend for fragrances, I think it just seems to be demand. And if you have a lot more people staying home, well, maybe they're just buying more, so that's why all the product's moving. But all we know is they're ordering earlier and they're ordering a lot more.
Any other trends?
It's fine. I love people when they ask me, what are the new trends for this year? What's the new stuff that's coming out? Because literally these really high-end niche companies, they come up with the Pantone color of the year, which usually has some color that no one would ever make a product look even similar to. And somehow some trendy person's like, oh, rose is coming back. And I have no clue how that works. But when I look at the volume that we're going through, the steady number of fragrances, like you want your house to smell spring and fall, and you like those fragrances that fall in those categories. And if you like cinnamon, it doesn't matter if some trendy guy walks up and says, oh, cinnamon's out this year, no one's going to buy it. You're still going to buy your cinnamon because that's what you like. I preferably don't like cinnamon, so that won't be in my house, but your mother loves cinnamon, so it will be in my house. That's how that works, right? Vanilla, pine. Once the Christmas trees comes out, everybody wants fir balsam, the pepperberry wreaths, mistletoe, all that stuff comes around the holidays, and it's just the trend of the season. I mean, that's just how that stuff plays out. So right now we're looking at starting to go into July. The trade shows are going on. Everything's going to switch over to those fall scents. Of course, everybody's watching the main players, Yankee, Bath and Body Works, to see if they're going to come out with any new fragrances. They're going to be trendy or something new. But at the end of the day, usually it's still something that falls into those categories. There's not much that goes out of that box. Just because Americans, which is the consumers that we're selling to, kind of have their specific fragrances they like certain times of the year. So even if it's beach in summer, they're still very similar. They may tweak it a little bit, but it's still the same fragrances. So to me, the supply chain on the shows, everybody really has to look at it as you're going to have to go online. You're going to have to do better jobs on AdWords, multiple platforms, social media. I mean, that's where the real, I wouldn't say trends, but where the sales are going to be coming from. Because if the face-to-face meetings and greetings and boutique stores are all closed, you don't have an option. That's the only place that you're going to go to be able to make up the difference. So if you don't have an Amazon account, you better get one. Your other boutique websites that are out there for the franchises, those are getting more popular and it's becoming more of them. But just having your own website, unless you're focused in on the social media and the AdWords side, you're going to have to reach out to some of these other spiders. But I still think the money's there. I still think, there's stimulus money. It might even be a second round of stimulus coming through. I think the consumers will have cash, and it's just going to see what they do with that cash. But I just want to throw this out there. I had a Vizio TV that died a couple of weeks ago. And I've only had this thing 2 years. I look up the model number. Boom, it comes up, and it says that everybody else said after 2 years their TV died, right? I think I paid $400 or $500 for a 50-inch Vizio, which was ultra high def. So it was a good TV. I had no problems with it until it stopped working after 2 years. Right? So I'm like, okay, for the money, it's still worth it. I'm going to get another one. I went online to buy a replacement. Walmart's out. Amazon is out. I bought it from Sam's Club. Sam's didn't have it. And I found a similar open box model from Best Buy. And because they're closed because of COVID, I had to buy it, and they would deliver it to my house. And I'm just sitting here thinking, how do we run out of TVs? Like, how does that even happen, right? China, main producer of TVs, COVID happens, everybody gets a Trump check, everybody goes out there and buys TVs, there's nothing left on the market, and that's it. But I think as long as this keeps going on, we're going to see more and more things that are coming up that aren't available, and then that's going to change people's perspective of what they can buy and what they can't buy. So we're going to see some markets that are going to sway different ways. Now, I wouldn't imagine candles running out, but who knows? Maybe the packaging's running out. I've heard that people are saying they can't get small plastic bottles, so that's changing that market, and those aren't available. So all of these things are going to play into our seasonal products that we're going to buy because certain things just aren't going to be accessible. So it's still early to tell. The season's still a couple months away, but what we're seeing, the stress on the consumer side, this could be pretty interesting playing out. Yeah. All right. So we'll do another one of these. We're still trying to go back to our weekly calendar, but it's just giving you guys a little bit of insight of what's going on. Subscribe and follow AFI.